to another episode of Beyond the Gates, Gardens of Lakeside Chapala. And I'm your host, Francisco Nava, and today our hostess is Bonnie. Bonnie has graciously invited us into her homes and her gardens. And we are just about to embark on the Christmas season, the holiday season. And Bonnie has done an amazing job of her gardens, her decorations. Everything is just beautiful. So we'll be showing those to you in a minute. So thank you, Bonnie, for joining us today.
You're very welcome.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your house and your gardens. How long have you been here in this area?
17 years this month.
17 years, and we're presently in Ajijic Central somewhere. And so you've had to nurture and groom and create your environment space, obviously, in a beautiful, wonderful, diversely creative manner. Tell me about your gardens. How were they when you first arrived here?
There weren't any except massive amounts of banana trees, a huge avocado tree that simply drew rodents into the area. So there was no grass that you will see today. It was all concrete, and basically everything had to be cut down that we were allowed to cut down. There's a palapa that you will see, and that's new since I've been here, since we've been here. So virtually we started with nothing.
Okay. And throughout the years, you've had the opportunity of choosing the types of plants that you What would you say your garden, in your garden, are your most prevalent or favorite plants that you have?
The ones that are healthy. I've taken photographs of the development of these gardens over the years, and when I look back at them, the garden changes just like we do. You know, as humans, we grow older, we get faded, and we do all those sorts of things, and the new ones seem to thrive. And if they don't, I don't buy them again.
That's
It's about that simple.
Good counsel. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And you have sort of two garden areas down here on this lower level. There's a kind of a main garden right off where we're sitting, and it has more sun. It's more exposed to environments. And then over here on the side of the house, there's a very tranquil, peaceful, cool shade garden there. And has it been a challenge to have both of those to work with?
Oh my, yes. And I rely on very good gardeners. I think that's one of the keys to having a successful garden experience. And I find that there are so many gardeners here that really aren't gardeners. It's what they do to earn a living, but they have no education, no real experience. And it's hard to find the good ones, and I have. And so they assist me all the way with what really does not do well in this particular soil, what does extremely well in a different part of the garden. So I rely a lot on those men.
Yeah.
It's
And how did you find them? Or did they come to you?
No, it took a long time.
Yeah.
It took a long time. And I've had other gardeners here that, are typical. They like to stand with a water hose, and they might know how to mow the grass, but anything that really tweaking plants and making them look the way they should look, trimming, they didn't do any of that sort of thing. But it's my passion. So before this, I spent hours, sometimes 6 hours a day in the gardens. Yeah, and I love it. That's a fun thing for me.
Well, we'll see right now in a little bit your garden, and it'll be very obvious to our viewers how much you love your plants and your gardens, because they're all beautiful, really. Is there as we walk through the garden, one of the main things people ask me about is watering.
Oh.
And watering. How do you water? How often do you water? What kind of water do you use?
We water by holding the hose.
Oh, it's
the only thing that is in the watering system is the grass, and but otherwise we water by hand. And depending on if it's rainy season or dry season, depends on how often we water it.
Right. So you change obviously as needed. Very good. And the other thing is. One of the questions that comes up frequently is, do you use fertilizers?
Oh yes, oh yes. And fertilizers, I've found that they generally take about 3 weeks to really be absorbed. So if you're not watering at least, if you're not fertilizing at least once a month for most plants, you're not going to have what you really want. You can't water once a quarter, once every 6 months. We can, but it's not going to look the same. We use various kinds of fertilizers. Simple, put them in, add it to the water, you know, and the guys walk around and do with the sprayer. The tomatoes get, obviously, tomato fertilizer. The herbs get different kinds of fertilizers. And I think I don't have a favorite brand. I think I just want to see it done and make sure that we are really, really fertilizing often enough. And in the rainy season, you have to fertilize all the time because it just washes right through.
It washes right through.
Right.
And I often run into you at the garden center, Laura's Garden Center. So is that where you buy most of your product?
Right.
Okay. So there's a pitch for Laura.
Yeah.
But it's a wonderful place, so everybody should know about it.
And I remember the years when we didn't have not only Laura's Garden Center, but really much of anything. And that was tough. That was really tough to find things. And sometimes you just had to go to Home Depot or someplace in Guadalajara to find the products that you want.
But now we have more selection.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Very nice.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, why don't we take a stroll through your gardens and give the audience a little peek at your beautiful spaces that you've created, especially right around Christmas time, where we're just about to embark on the Christmas holiday season, and your house is just delightfully decorated. Thank you for inviting us in.
Thank you.
To this paradise. Yeah. All right, so we'll see you in a minute. All right, so we're in your large garden, the main part of your large garden, and everything surrounding us is obviously doing beautifully. And I think if I had to categorize one of the features of all these plants is that they're all sun-loving, obviously.
Yes.
So they all love sun.
Right.
Hibiscus, and we've got cannas, and we've got roses, and we've got herbs, and we've got citronella, and so there's a lot of different variety here. Some of the larger plants in back. But they're all they're all sun-loving. So obviously, watering for all this is going to be similar.
Yeah.
So
the drier it gets, then we water every day.
Yeah, almost every day. So, and then during the rainy season, maybe every 3-4 days?
This year, some weeks we didn't water at all.
Oh, really?
But normally it would be every 3 or 4.
Okay, because we did get a lot of rain this year.
Right. Which is wonderful.
Yeah. And then how do you maintain your lawn? Because a lot of people have lawns and they're very critical of them, and they say, well, why do I have a dry spot, and this and that.
I find, Francisco, that lawns get diseased here pretty quickly, far faster than I've ever experienced before. But when that happens, we literally take dirt that sometimes is full of weeds, and we put dirt over absolutely the entire thing.
Oh, really?
So that it's about this high, dirt. And we fertilize and we water as the dirt goes back down in, and then we have to cut the grass very, very short. But anyway, I love grass, and my dogs have to have some grass.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
They have to do that.
Yeah. Beautiful. And then over here you have, if I can ask Axel to swing over here, these 2 beautiful cycads, They're just stunning. It's one of my favorite plants on this planet. And how long have these been here?
They were here when we bought the house.
Yeah?
And they were small, and I was told at the time to pamper them, and I do. I have service come out here, Roberto at Chapala Tree Service, several times a year, and he sprays them. Sometimes they will get a white,
Yes.
And it's very, very bad for them.
Yeah.
They grow babies, and the babies don't always survive, but we cut them. If we can get enough of a root, we cut them and put them in a pot. And sometimes they live and sometimes they don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they're just very happy and
gorgeous.
gorgeous and
Yeah,
so
beautiful.
well maintained.
Yeah, it's a beautiful tree.
And then you have some more flowering plants over here, aside from the roses. These are in pots.
Yes.
Is there, have you found a special challenge with potted plants
Oh,
and how to maintain them
absolutely.
and keep them happy?
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely. Some things just thrive. I used to have many because I just grew tired of them and I wanted color.
Yeah.
But, you know, succulents are always easier to grow and keep
Yeah.
alive.
So very nice. Boxwoods and crotos and just all these wonderful colored plants. So it's nice to intersperse color because if you do something like this, you get a lot of shades of green, but then color just adds
Right.
so much.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
beautiful.
That's why I switched from so many succulents to flowering plants. And geraniums grow beautifully for me.
Good.
Even in pots, they really do.
And I know you have some jasmine over in the other garden, and that also has been a little bit of a challenge for some people to get started. Once it establishes, then it just kind of goes. But yours, the two you have over there, are very, very happy as well. So why don't we go over to the shade garden and take a look at that. So in our garden adventures today, we happened upon Santa, just about to arrive with gifts, and his reindeer, who are kind of gathered all around here. But one of the things I love about this centerpiece here is your bird of paradise, you know, that you're allowing it to grow and giving it space and not having to cut it to the space, but having the space be enough for it. So that's one of the things I see a lot of people. They might put an agave or a bird of paradise into a small corner, and then when it grows, they just chop it all up to try to maintain it in there, and then the poor plant suffers. But here, it's just thriving. It's just beautiful, you know. So your shade garden has herbs over here on our side, and then this is a different type of garden. So how do you differ your maintenance for the shade garden as opposed to the one that we were just in?
Less water.
Less water, okay.
Because they don't need it, and a lot of this are old, substantial, mature trees and bushes, and so their roots obviously go a lot deeper than the little fluffy things around the edges.
Right.
You know, and trim. I mean, we just keep trimming.
Trim and trim and trim because everything just keeps growing and growing and growing.
Yeah, I like the shade and I like the tranquility of it all.
Yeah. I like the coolness of it
Yeah.
too. It's just beautiful over here. Lantanas and geraniums, and right now in the season, poinsettias or nochebuenas. If we can ask Axel to pan over here. To this wonderful, I love this garden because it's a mixture of ground covers and herbs and sculpture and, you know, variegated schiffoleras and just lovely, lovely tones of green here. And then tell me about this guy here.
The artist is in Guadalajara, and I bought that several years ago at an art show because it reminded me so much of how my husband sat. And he was a well-educated and very intelligent man, and it just reminded me of him.
So he's here.
He's here
in spirit as well. Yeah.
Yep.
And
lots
in
of
sculpture
things.
and sculpture. as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Bonnie, I'd like to take the audience in to see some of your holiday decorations inside as well. So
Sure.
why don't we
We have
on over that way. Kind of a wonderful holiday decoration with poinsettia in a vertical planter. with obviously butterflies and just a few different types of plants, but it's unusual in that it's like our demo that we just did, where our artist was making organic succulent balls to place on the tree as ornaments.
Nice.
Yeah. So you have to look at that one.
Oh, I will.
Yeah, but it's out of the box, just like this one here. So we really like this one as we pass by. Okay, so Bonnie, tell me about this beautiful arrangement on your dining table.
Well, I have to start with my love of the store called Triunfo here in Mexico. And sometimes you just run across some beautiful things. And these flowers came from a Triunfo in Puerto Vallarta. And the rest of it is doves, just because I put these on at Christmas time. I actually bought these for a wedding that I hosted one time. But I like them so much I keep them here.
Yeah, gorgeous.
They're sort of a silk, but not really. It's not the quality of silk, but yeah, I think they're beautiful.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful. And you could leave them up all year if you take out the ornaments and the doves.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. Thank you.
Let's go over and see your tree over here. Okay.
Really?
So your tree is amazing. And of note are these fantastic figures that some are Father Christmas-ish, some are gnome-like. Tell me about those and how they came to you, like this little guy here.
There was a lady who had a little factory here. She employed many local women, and they made all of these jesters by hand. They bought the faces and the hands, and the rest of it they made. And she used to be where Efren Gonzalez's studio is. And I just absolutely loved them. And so I bought a few from her, and then she went out of business and she was tired of working, so I bought everything. So everything that you see here, not the reindeer, but the jesters, almost all of them came from her.
Fantastic.
Yeah, aren't they? They're fun, and they're just, well, in an artificial tree you can decorate so easily anyway.
They're wonderful. Lovely.
Aren't they?
Yeah.
Here's a big one on a chair.
Yeah, the detail and the character that they're able to create.
Yep. Nice.
Very nice.
Fun.